I wanted to give you an update on the food service. That came to the board last month under public comment, so I sent you some information, and I'm happy to report out. I asked our food service director to give me an updated list of outstanding debts at this point. So as of June 9th, we have debts totaling $3,093.43. And that comes from 322 different families across all of our schools. Of that number, and I think the concern that was expressed at the last meeting sort of slanted in terms of maybe the situation is that we have people who are in free and reduced hot lunch who incurred these debts and are unable to pay them. So I specifically asked a breakout as to who's free, who's reduced, and who's other. Of that number of the 322 families, we only have 47 families that are either on free or reduced, which means that they incurred the debt prior to the time they were found eligible. However, the 275 other families are people who theoretically can pay for their children's meals. And that basically means that 85% of the outstanding debt belongs to those families. You may not think $3,000 is a lot, but I think we do in terms of the amount of money that we're trying to put into food now, because we have a lot of mandates of the types of foods we have to buy and provide, and they are more expensive because hopefully they're healthier. So it really does make a difference not to have over $3,000 worth of money coming into us. So what I did was, I too am concerned, and I talked with the administrative team about this, so we came up with some changes to our policy. To our procedures, not our policy. First of all the students in our elementary and middle schools will continue to receive hot lunch even if their accounts are in arrears. For those families who have incurred debt prior to being determined to qualify for free or reduced, a meeting of the food service director, the principal in that building, and the business manager will be held to determine if the debt needs to be waived or if arrangements for payments need to be secured. Because we're also very eager to make those arrangements. If we have people who cannot pay the full amount in one check, then we're happy to do it over a weekly basis. We just need to make that a possibility for them. So we'll look at that. For those families who have incurred debt but who have not been determined for free or reduced status, the food service director will notify them after an amount of $2.75 is reached. That's been $2, but our meals are $2.75, so I think it's only fair we notify people after they've missed one lunch. She's doing that now, and that's done in terms of a computerized program that you have for food services. You can check your balance that way, so that is being done. The second thing that will happen is the food service director will mail a letter to the parent once that amount has reached $20 or more with a specific date for payment. And then fourthly, if the payment is not made, then a second letter goes to the parent indicating that if the account is not paid by a specific date, then it will be referred to the business manager for possible legal action. And I attached a letter that is a sample letter that Mr. Morrow can use for that. And finally, if payment is still not made, this is the third time, then the business manager will send a letter indicating sort of a last chance to pay the account before it's referred to small claims court. So I want to go back and say the following, and that is that at this point, it's the end of the school year. School ends on June 25th, and we'd request that parents please pay their outstanding balances now so that you can start the next school year with a clean slate. And secondly, and most importantly, we really don't wish to take anyone to small claims court. We just want to have them pay for their students' lunches. If you can't pay, then please contact us to help us make arrangements, and we're happy to work with you on that. But it's really just not okay just to let these bills keep running. So whatever help people out there listening to us may be able to help, I hope they do. Because we really would like to recover the monies owed us at the end of this school year and not have it continue.
Ms. Thakurchuk? Just a couple comments. First of all, I obviously understand that the school needs to collect the monies that are owed for lunches, and parents need to pay the debts that are owed. However, the emphasis on, in my opinion, on legal action in this is too heavy, in my opinion. If a parent, if they're over $20, they get a letter saying, you know, pay by this amount. And that letter talks about possible legal action if they don't pay it. I think more emphasis at that point should be placed on, and I don't see anything in that part of the memo, emphasis placed on, please call us and tell us what's going on and let us help you make arrangements, which is not mentioned. I don't think that's the place for legal action. I understand that if an account gets to be, you know, really overdue, that, you know, that maybe some legal action needs to happen, but mentioning legal action twice in a memo when you're talking about a couple $100, first of all, is that really going to happen? And secondly, I think legal action for a school lunch is a little bit harsh.
Okay. Ms. Minnick and then Ms. Duvall.
Just to piggyback on that, I think it would be appropriate to include a couple of sentences that simply states that we are required by law to provide lunches that meet a lot of requirements, and that the food service budget is a revolving account that operates independently of the school department budget, so that they really don't have like cash reserves and a lot of flexibility. They depend on revenues to cover their costs, and maybe just making that statement will help people to be more timely with their payments.
Okay. I think Ms. Duvall had a comment, and then Mr. Scheffler.
Well, this has been an ongoing issue, and one of the things that I got out of this one is that at the elementary school level, all the kids still receive a hot lunch. In the past, I don't think that that's been true.
That's true.
I think that, and so when we're looking and talking about the legal system, I mean, we're kind of stuck somewhere. I would rather say, listen, pay up or we're going to have to take legal measures, rather than say, you know, well, if you don't pay up, we're going to have to ostracize your child and they're not going to be eating the hot lunch. They're just going to be eating the crappy little peanut butter sandwich that they were giving out before. I mean, I don't think that that's fair at all, and I think that that's very hard on the kids to do it that way. So, I mean, yes, it is difficult to know how to do it, and I do think maybe we shouldn't come out the gate threatening, quote unquote, but you know, it is a difficult situation of how to get the money without it affecting the children, because it's an adult issue and it's not a child issue. So, and I know that I've talked to a lot of kids that were really upset about, you know, mistakes being made or whatnot, and them not being able to have their hot lunch. So I'm glad that we're now giving hot lunches again.
Mr. Scheffler.
As someone who was on the list of people who owed money, I think it is a little bit of a kid issue. When you give your kid a check and they don't turn it in, that could be an issue. But I think, you know, I kid about that. But part of it is, when I found out I was on the list, I went online to get it, to take care of it. And so my first question is, do we have any idea of what percentage of families are using the online service that we have? Because as part of the online service, you do get reminders when your balance drops below a certain level. So that's helpful. And I think what we also want to take a look at is, when I went online to take care of that, I put money on my account, and then there was a $2 service charge for me to do that. So if we could turn that around to make it an incentive rather than a disincentive, that might be something helpful as well. I don't know if that's possible with the current vendor that we have, but just observations that might be worth taking a look at.
Other comments, Mr. Meyer?
Just along the legal action, I don't think it's really realistic for, I mean, I would say if someone came to me and said, I want to sue someone, if it's for under $500, it's not worth pursuing. Even if you're willing, I mean, first of all, there's a $40 filing fee in small claims court, and then when you win, you get a judgment. And the judgment is not the same as money, so then you have to execute on the judgment, which will cost you an additional $100, $200, right, to serve them. The sheriff has to serve them, garnish their wages. So I think really, from what other school committee members, I think this is an education process, and we may invest some time up front in terms of trying to push people toward the online system, and as well as, trying to make them spending staff time. I mean, spending food service staff time and reaching out to parents and talking about, you have this and how can we arrange for this to happen. But unfortunately, I think it's going to be a cost of doing business for the food service program to a large extent.
Other comments?
So I just want to say that I appreciate you taking, such quick action on this, and I'm glad that all the children will still receive a hot lunch. And maybe a piece in the first letter could give some examples of what a payment arrangement might look like, and so that way it's sort of really reaching out to people who don't qualify for free and reduced lunch but still might be struggling financially. Maybe there's some language in there that this is how you would go about applying, and reaching out to us so that we can kind of figure out something, and here are a couple of examples of how you could do that.
Other questions? Okay. So again, this is a internal procedure. That you sent
These
out.
are
This
procedures,
This
and
isn't
if you-
something that was sent out to parents or anything like that.
No, it was sent out to Carol, and the letters go out tomorrow. So assuming I can get hold of Carol tomorrow, we'll stop the letters, and we'll not do anything with small claims court.
Okay. So would you like to proceed with your?
Sure.
I mean, would you like a vote of the school committee on that?
I
or-
heard the school committee.
Okay.
I'm happy to do it any way you would like. I can tell you that it's been successful in the past, and I'll tell you why it was successful. Because once people got these letters, they paid. We didn't take people to small claims court, but we sort of blew that one, so we'll take that away now. Next item.